Hey, Wiki Hunters, welcome back to the Art of Photography podcast, where we share our passion and we share how we found hope, purpose, and happiness through photography. So, today I want to talk to you about what we've the conversation that I had with Jim Brompton. I mean, 50 years. He's been taking photo for 50 years, and he's been in the business for 40 years, and he dropped a lot of wisdom and message there, and it was just it was so great to be able to learn and understand all of those mistakes that he's done and to get to where he is. Um, I think one of the thing that really bring it home to me in this conversation was how a lot of the false perception. We broke down a lot of the false perception of using filters in photography. We associated filters with Instagram, and so when you think about filters, it was most people think it's those things that you put on Instagram that you can put the different colors or the different mood that you get from a photo. Well, in fact, a filter in a photography world or in a camera world is merely a lens, an extra lens. It's a tinted lens that help you to control the light. So it's actually really important. And Jim talked about this, how using a filter can increase the quality of your photo as well as like increase that wow factor of your photograph, because when you use a filter you could control the light. And as you should be appreciating by now, photography is all about light. Without light, there are no photography. And I talk about this actually in my course. It is the most talk about things, and the thing that I always bring back to light, light, light. It is so important for you to understand lights and how to harness lights or take advantage of lights, even if they're considered as a bad lighting or a flat lighting. There is always a way that you can harness it and you can use it to its advantage to create something that is wow or different. Now, in this one, Jim talked about the polarizer filter, and I totally agree with him. I didn't used to use the polarizer filter that much. I used to use the polarizer filter to when I want to be able to see through a water. So what I do is I reduce the reflection. Um, but ever since I got on board with case filters and I had the magnetic filter, it was just so seamless. It's so easy to put in and off, and I find that glare is basically everywhere. It's on the rocks, it's on the leaf, it's on an object. So if you use sorry, not necessarily case filters, but case have a really fantastic filters. Having said that, but if you just use a polarizer filter on your camera, you'll be able to cut a lot of that glare. And what it means is that you'll be able to see the texture, you'll be able to see the actual color, and it will have a deeper color. You can make the blue sky more blue by using a polarizer, and the green trees more green, especially during a sunny day, by using a circular polarizer filter. Now, a lot of people say that it's like, oh, you should keep it real, don't use filter. Well, in fact, by using filter you can do less press post production, and it is one of the reason why I use filter is that especially during sunrise and sunset and those dramatic lighting, it's very important to be able to control the light and to be able to decrease that dynamic range, because unfortunately, even though our eyes can see the different dynamic from the darkest to the brightest, right, and all the color within, there are no camera yet that is as good as our eyes. So you have to either do a few different techniques, maybe a HDR, or stacking, exposure stacking. But by using a filter, you do less in post processing. Why? Because you control the light in the field. You control the light when you actually shoot. And by doing that, you often get a better quality images because you don't, for example, if you're shooting a sunset and a sunrise, you don't have to bump up all the shadows all that much because it was already a great you already control that with the filters. um, the other thing where Jim talk about crisscrossing filters. I haven't done that myself, and it was good to hear that. Actually, I want to try that now. That's amazing. And but filters give you an extra ways, an extra tool. Remember, at the end of the day, your camera is a tool as a way to express your creativity through photography. So don't think of it any more than that. At the end of the day, you are the director. You are having to decide what you want to be in your photo and how your photo will tell the story. So very, very important for you to remember that. So having that ND filter helps you dramatically. Why? Because now during the daylight, you could start creating photos that are unique to yourself by doing long exposure. How many of you seen a daylight long exposure? I'm sure not many of you, because those people that does it are the one that are committed to it. So if you put that extra time, that effort to use the filter or use the tool to create that unique perspective and unique take and creative part of the scene, then you can capture and you can increase the wow factor of your photos, for the sheer fact that not many people take that kind of images. All right, well, thanks a lot for hearing me babbling, Wicked Hunters. But hopefully, you get a very similar takeaway. If you haven't used a filter before, I highly recommend trying one out or borrowing a friend's or even buy a cheap one. My very first filter was literally $50 for five, including a bag from eBay, and that was just getting to know the filter. But as a partner in Case Filter, if you are interested in grabbing a filter, you can either contact me or contact Jim, and we can definitely give you the best deal that we can have. So yeah, highly recommend exploring that side of photography because not many people has gone out there, and one of the best way to stand out is stop following the mainstream, right? Creating one that is unique, creating one that is powerful. All right, well, until next time, Wiki Hunters, and please, please, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell button so that you get notification for the next time I put things on YouTube or onto the Podbean. I think for podcast, the follow button is, yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, so podcast here, YouTube here. Podcast here, YouTube here. All right, cool. Have a good rest of the week, Weekend Hunters, and I'll catch you next time.